Welcome back to Weber Pulling Team. Today something a little bit different for you. While we are missing one member of the Weber Pulling Team Cummins diesel trucks, the pull truck is still in pieces down at Tim's. He's making some awesome progress. Hopefully in the next video or two we'll have that thing done and we'll get back to putting it together for some pulls for the 2021 season. But in the meantime, we had a new acquisition, this 4th gen, here just a week or so ago. And so I thought, well, not very often you get an opportunity to have 2nd, 3rd, and 4th gen side by side, all cleaned up together. So just thought I would get them all 3 out here and kind of do a walk around, a fire up, just tell you about some of the mods to each of the trucks, and just a general comparison and going over. So hope you enjoy. All right, we're going to start with my baby, a 95 Cummins 12 valve 2-wheel drive truck. You've seen this truck on the channel. We've done some modifications. Most recently, of course, we did the stack on it. This truck I've had for about 4 years. This is probably, outside of the pull truck, this is probably the closest to a build, if you want to call it that, because this thing was pretty rough when we got it. It didn't have hardly any paint on it. It was originally all red. Truck did come out of Southern Ohio, but thanks to being 2-wheel drive, it had a decent body on it, but as I said, didn't have hardly any paint on it. So me and Dad painted the truck, and pretty much any modification that you see on the truck we did, because when we bought this thing, it was stock. So stock that the transmission was completely stock and it barely pulled itself up on the trailer. Motor was out of time. It had a leaky windshield. It had water, a combination of water, corn, and cigarette butts in the floorboard. And I paid $2,500 for it. It was pretty rough. So it has undergone probably the most work outside of the pull truck of any other truck we've ever had. Of course, engine-wise, you know the mods on the engine. We don't know exactly what kind of power the truck makes, but probably somewhere in the area of 500-ish. Maybe a little bit more, but we'll hopefully find out here soon. We'll do a quick fire up of it. Next in line is this 2007 6.7 Cummins truck. This has been the tow rig for the pull truck for the last 3 years. This truck was pretty much stock when we got it, but had lived a pretty good life. Had lived in Ohio, so the body wasn't perfect, but was still pretty nice. Dad has done some paint work on this and replaced a couple things, fenders, tailgate, hood, but overall pretty darn nice truck. This truck has been to Mexico. That might be why it's such high miles, the long trip to Mexico and back, but it has been to Mexico. But other than EFI Live and exhaust, engine-wise, this thing is completely stock. It's got studs and a new turbo, but it's just a stock replacement turbo. So just 5-position EFI, nicely built 68 RFE, and it does a really good job towing. We come from towing with a 12 valve, so towing with this has been really, really awesome. We didn't really know what we were missing. Nothing against the 12 valve towing wise, but the 68 RFE and the 6.7 towing is a really nice combination. Not anything wild power wise, probably, I don't know, 4.5 maybe, 4.25, I don't know. I'd rather underrate than overrate, and of course it depends on if you're talking rear tire power, if you're talking flywheel power. Probably makes a little less than the 12 valve, but while it's a lot heavier because of the 68, it still seems pretty quick. Really fun little truck. I think it's going to be sticking around for a while. We'll do a quick fire up on it. Pretty tame, pretty quiet. Just a nice old 3rd gen. Complete with a little rail hang. And then we got the newest member of the family. We've never had a 4th gen before. This is a 2012 that we just picked up, like I said, about a week ago. And whereas the other trucks we've all bought have pretty much all been stock and we've done all the mods to them, or had the mods done, this one's had a lot of nice mods done to it. Both cosmetically, which we've added some stuff cosmetically already to it, but obviously somebody has done a few mods to the truck. Probably more to come. As any Cummins diesel owner knows, you're never really done building and working on a truck. They're always just in a constant state of upgrading and changing. Sometimes because you want to, sometimes because you have to. Forced upgrades. But we were hoping that this will serve as a good tow rig for the 2021 pulling season. We basically have 5 people with us going to pulls, so this might be a good comparison for anybody out there with a 3rd or thinking about a 3rd gen versus a 4th gen. This back seat room, this is really the reason that we got this truck. Compare that to the 3rd. It may be hard to tell in the pictures, but I did not realize how much difference there was until you sat in them. But these 4th gen interiors have a lot more space. I'm going to say 5 to 6 inches worth of leg room, and that's going to make a big difference when going to some pulls. The 3rd gen has done a great job and will probably be a backup tow rig. But I think the 4th will do an even better job. 68 RFE truck as well. It also isn't low on the miles, but that's because it's been to Mexico as well. So kind of interesting, 2 trucks that have both made the journey to Mexico. We'll give it a little fire up. Don't really know power-wise on this one. Dad says it's a little bit stouter than the 3rd gen. So don't really know what kind of power it makes for sure. But probably somewhere in the neighborhood of these two. I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between the 3 of them power-wise. Obviously the 12 valve has the most mods, but it also came from the factory with a whole lot less power than the 6.7s. If anybody recognizes this truck, I would love to know the history on this thing, because it's Came from Florida, spent most of its life in Florida, and then in central Ohio for a while. So maybe somebody that sees this video will have a clue and say, hey, I know that truck. It used to be my buddy's truck or something like that. I would love to know the history. But seems like a pretty nice rig. I'm excited to have a 4th gen around. Second, third, and fourth. A lot of differences. Dodge made a lot of changes over the years. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Tell me what's your favorite. 2nd gen, 3rd gen, 4th gen. And let me know if there's anything you'd like to know or like to see on each of these trucks. Of course, you've seen this one quite a bit, but probably barely seen this one and never seen this one on the channel. So about 700,000 miles represented between the 3 of them. This one's got 247, this one's got 259, and this one's got 197, I think it was. So what is that, 255? Yeah, about 700,000 miles represented here between these. Throw the pull truck in there and we've got almost 1 million miles in 4 Cummins trucks. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll catch you in the next one. Just curious what it would sound like if they was all running at the same time.